Okay, perfect. All right, so I've got some questions up here. Let me take a look and see what we got here. Okay, Landon, you love to watch Cover Your Kingdom. You love Cover Your Assets, and very interested in the version. That makes me really happy because I am the developer and creator of Cover Your Kingdom and all of the terrible jokes within that game. Cover Your Kingdom is like a advanced version of Cover Your Assets. It is to Cover Your Assets kind of what Skull King with the expansion is to the original Skull King game. Adds a lot of new and fun strategy while maintaining the same core mechanics that people really enjoy. Sounds like DR Lifter. What's that? Drifter? Oh, Drifter. There we go. Drifter. Glad you like Cover Your Assets as well. A lot of people enjoy that game because it's a game where you get to be mean to people, and people like being mean. So, Brielle, are you still having a hard time hearing me there? You said you can't hear the person speaking. That was a little bit ago. Do you guys have any questions? What would you like to hear about here? Brielle's crying, laughing now. I'm great. She thinks I'm great. That makes me happy. So, yeah. So, Grandpa Beck's Games, for those of you who don't know it, is my parents' business, and I work with them, and I work with them developing games and also doing marketing, and this is one of the really fun things I get to do is come and play games with store owners, and it's really my very favorite thing I get to do is come spend time with all of the shop owners. Question from Drifter here: can Cover Your Assets and Cover Your Kingdom play simultaneously? They do not mesh with each other. They're both in their own worlds. However, you can use the Cover Your Kingdom cards to play Cover Your Assets by removing some of the special cards. It basically gives you 2.5 decks worth of cards, whereas Cover Your Assets has just 2 decks worth of cards. So if you play with the traditional Cover Your Assets rules with the Cover Your Kingdom deck, you can play with up to 9 players with that deck. Cover Your Kingdom is made to be very adaptable. You can play it with kind of the core experience, which is what we'll be playing tonight. There's also 2 different expansions that are within that game. And there are also rules to simplify the game to basically play it with Cover Your Assets rules, but with the fun, stupid creatures instead of money, which is awesome. Biggest mechanical difference between Cover Your Kingdom and Cover Your Assets. Okay, so there are... When I approached Cover Your Kingdom, the first thing that I did is I went and I looked through all about the reviews of Cover Your Assets on Amazon and also on Board Game Geek, and I specifically wanted to look for what people did not like about the game. There are tons and tons of glowing reviews. In fact, a little feather in our cap here, Cover Your Assets is the #1 highest rated game in North America on Amazon, which is pretty cool for a little family business. However, there are a few things that I saw could be improved with Cover Your Assets. People wanted to have more control within the game, and wanted to also limit the ability to dogpile or a person to really get far ahead in the game where other people couldn't catch up. So there are a few things that I introduced to Cover Your Kingdom to address those issues. First thing is players now have 2 piles instead of 1 pile that they're collecting. And one of the mechanics in Cover Your Kingdom, which you'll be introduced to shortly, and forces players to place their creatures in one side or the other of their kingdom, and then some of them can go into either side. And by forcing players to keep 2 separate piles, you're immediately given twice the number of options of things to steal in the game. So if you're playing a game of Cover Your Assets with 4 players, you're going to have 3 different piles that you have the opportunity to steal from. Cover Your Kingdom, you can have as many as 6 different piles that you get to steal from. And in addition to that, you get to take 2 actions instead of 1 every turn. That adds a lot of fun strategy to the game, allowing you to steal a valuable set and then immediately cover it in that same turn is a really great part of the game, or create a valuable set and then create another set on top of it that's not as valuable to protect it. And then the third biggest difference in the game is in Cover Your Assets, you have just your standard assets and you have the wild cards. In Cover Your Kingdom, we also introduce action cards, and those cards do some really cool things in the game. They are meant to once again kind of soften those core issues that Cover Your Assets has in terms of balance. And each one of those cards is designed to address a specific issue that I saw when playing Cover Your Assets. So, for example, Minotaur card imprisons a player for a turn, and they aren't allowed to add any new creatures to their kingdom to that turn, and that card is to help players catch up when one player gets ahead. Grumbledolph's Elves is a really savage card in the game. It allows you to remove a clan of creatures from the game entirely so no one gets it. And Cover Your Assets, what I often see happen is that one set of homes or classic autos will get stolen starting early on in the game, and by the end of the game, whoever gets that one set is pretty much guaranteed to win the round because of all the wild cards that get added in there. So the Grumbledolph's Elf card in the game has the ability to blow up a stack, so there's no Kingmaker set left in the game, and there are two of them in there. The other cards, the Mob Goblins are really powerful. They allow you to trade a set between your kingdom and another kingdom. That one's really fun. You get to basically steal anything you want, but it comes at the cost of one of your own sets in the game. So there's a little bit of a cost to you in order to obtain that other set. And then the Wizard card is really fun as well. It lets you move a set from top to the bottom or from the bottom to the top. That was another deficiency I saw in Cover Your Assets. Being able to create a pair at the very beginning of the game that's really valuable that no one can ever touch gives you an immediate advantage. If you put a home card down with a gold behind it, you've got 70,000 that is totally safe and no one can touch throughout the entire game. And Cover Your Kingdom, because you have two different stacks going on, and because you can always steal every single clan from a player until they're down to their very last one. If they have one in each side of their kingdom, you can always steal one of those two. You just can't steal both of them. So there's never a set that's entirely safe in the game. And the Wizard card, by allowing you to move a set from the bottom to the top and top to the bottom, also helps to remove that advantage that players have at the beginning of creating what was always a safe set and Cover Your Assets. So the goal with Cover Your Kingdom is I wanted the game to be at least 100% more strategic than Cover Your Assets. However, I only want it to be about 25% more difficult to learn the game. And Cover Your Assets is an easy game to learn. And in Cover Your Kingdom, the way that I made it easy to learn is I designed the game UI and the elements so that the game is very self-explanatory. And as we jump into it, you're going to see how the different markers on the cards and on your kingdom mats help players to really learn the game quickly and make it very fluid and fun. Let's see.
I've seen some of those questions.
Yeah, I'm going to take a look at some more here. Let's see. One, you're done. Let's see what's the biggest mechanical difference. And Drifter, how do you come up with some of the goofy jokes, actions, etc. when creating games like these? Well, I have a severely warped sense of humor. That is the truth of the matter. I was an improv comedian while I was at college, and I have always had a penchant for terrible puns. It is a special gift of mine, which my children someday will grow to appreciate. My wife, I've given up on her ever appreciating that gift of mine. But all of the terrible puns that you see in Cover Your Kingdom and all of the creatures were creations out of my demented brain. So you're gonna have a fun time seeing some really terrible jokes tonight, I hope. So it says on Twitter, you have a question from Talking Board Games. How much content from the Kickstarter didn't make it to the retail edition? Everything from Kickstarter made it into the retail edition. It was really important to me that when we did the game, that we weren't going to hold back anything, and that we gave a lot of added value. So that box is very substantial. You pick it up, it's very, very full, and you've got lots of cool components. You've already got 2 expansions that are included within that base game, and I also made sure to develop rules so that the game can be played from 2 players all the way to 8 players. And there are accommodations for 2-player play, and also accommodations when you get to 6, 7, and 8 players, because I wanted the game to be a great experience, no matter your player count, whether you're doing it on a date night, or you're with one of your kids, or you're at the family reunion and you want everyone to be able to jump in and play at a big table. This game is meant to accommodate really any audience that you throw at it. And same with the mechanics. One of the things that I'm going to tweak probably in the next printing is to make the modifications for simplifying the game appear earlier in the book, because I've heard a few people who've said, oh, the game is too hard for my younger kids to play. However, the game, like I said, can be adapted to be played with Cover Your Assets rules, and I think that actually the UI and the elements of the game make it easier to play than Cover Your Assets for younger kids if you if you go to Cover Your Assets rules and keep a single stack per player and remove the action cards.
Landon's asking what was Grandpa Beck's first game, and did you say Cover Your Assets was your top seller?
So Cover Your Assets is our top seller. The very first game that we created is a game called Golf, and that one is actually in the process of getting completely redesigned and overhauled. It'll be coming out later this year with a new theme. It's going to be about gnomes that are playing mini golf out in the forest. It's called Gnoming Around, and we're changing all the artwork, and then we've also been working on enhanced mechanics for that game to kind of bring it up to the standard that we have for our games. Let's see.
What about the artwork?
The artwork. So the artwork for all of our games, except for Golf and soon to be Golf as well, has been done by our artist April Stott. She's incredibly talented and has a really wide scope of ability. Every single game in our lineup has her artwork in it. And you look at Skull King and then Bears and the Bees and Your Kingdom, those are all very different art styles. And so we're
all the same artists.
All the same artists. So we're really lucky. I was the art director in Cover Your Kingdom, and April and I actually worked with a screen sharing application so that I could work with her and do sketches of different characters, and we created them together. It was really busy a few weeks as we were getting ready for the Kickstarter campaign, and we were kind of behind due to some setbacks from a previous game that we've been creating. So it was a really rough schedule to get things done at the end, but we had a lot of fun and had a real blast, particularly with all of the little customizations that are on the cards themselves. There's all kinds of jokes. In fact, every single one of the cards in the game has been customized. So there's something that's been changed on every card. So for example, the Cyclops all have a terrible pun that's about being a Cyclops, or the Cerberus Russell Terriers, every single one of them, their dog collar, if you look closely, has a different pun name based off of a famous dog. So you've got Gassy instead of Lassie, or Toto instead of Toto, and all kinds of dumb things like that. And a couple of them are kind of not obvious until someone shows you. So as we play the games tonight, I'm going to show you a couple of my very favorite customizations that are really deep hidden gems there.
Nice. I know we're going to play Cover Your Kingdom, but on the Bears and the Bees, somebody's asking to do a short version of how you play that.
Yeah, so I can demo that one in like 3 minutes when we're done here.
Stick around.
It's actually, to be honest, the Bears and the Bees are the other. The Cover Your Kingdom I developed, but I also developed the Bears and the Bees, and that's the game that really is my very favorite game in our lineup. Bears and Bees, the box says 8+. It really can play from 6+, but I designed the game to be played by teenagers and adults. And with the advanced mechanics, it is a highly strategic game, but it scales down with the basic rules to be playable by kids, and so there are kind of two different levels of play on it, and it becomes surprisingly thinky and strategic very quickly as you add in those advanced mechanics.
Right. We're going to switch the light over and let's jump in and play some Cover Your Assets.
All right, that sounds good. Let's see.
All the questions.
Okay, the Antiquity Quest game, that is our version of Hand, Foot, or Canasta, the set collection game with some new mechanics added in. I'm going to answer the last couple questions here.
Yeah. Antiquity
let's see.
Quest. That's what you were just talking about.
Antiquity Quest, an expansion. Landon, what was your question about the expansion?
Oh, he wants to know if there is an expansion.
For which game?
I think he was answering the Antiquity game.
Oh, okay. All right, should we start it, guys?
Let's get started.
All right, I'm going to sign off here, guys. We'll jump on over to play some games here. Thank you for your questions.
Let's see if our view